Man, I'm really pumped with these new wines. Hey, like they're a noticeable step up from the petty Vanguard.
This is Michael's obsession.
Totally.
It's not his interest. It's not his workplace. He's obsessed with this vineyard.
Like,
He'd be up.
take over the world.
G'day guys, Tom and Wade here from DDHQ with today's different drop deep dive.
Yes.
Do you like that?
Oh man, what a man to go deep on.
Off to a good start. No, I was more referring to the amazing alliteration of the different drop deep dive.
Oh yeah, I know you love alliteration.
You're just
maddening.
You're just getting excited about Mr. Michael J. Corbett from Vanguardist Wines. Wade, tell us about today's special guest.
We've known Michael for a fair while now, but this is the first time that we've been able to sort of go down and check out what he's up to in person. So we went down to McLaren Vale and the Rosé Valley just a couple of weeks ago and spent a couple of days with Michael hanging out in his little winery and checking out Rende Vineyard and looking at this new suite of wines.
We'll get into the Rende Vineyard story and stuff shortly, but 40 some Riesling. And I think probably an appropriate wine to start on because Michael Corbett, Michael being a Kiwi, first studied winemaking, low winemaking over in the Hawke's Bay area with a gentleman named Ben Marks, another Kiwi, who'll be known to many wine lovers. His family own a vineyard in the Polish Hill sub-region of the Clare Valley, and he makes the label, you know, the wine. Gertie.
Love it. Gertie.
Love the Gertie.
Have you ever had the little Gertie Cab Franc?
Yeah.
Absolutely killer wine. It's usually like 30, 35
you probably
bucks.
haven't.
No.
Because he makes like 3 cases a year.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
Sorry, Ben, I'll get you that order, I promise. And anyway, he's done something like 30 vintages across 13 countries.
The dude's an absolute energizer bunny. Like he does 2 vintages every year. So he'll do one in South Australia, in McLaren Vale in the Barossa, and then he also heads to France. Last year he did a bit of Fleury, like a little bit of Beaujolais.
He's a real lover of the great old world styles of wine, but then finding a way to put his kind of modern, slightly more lo-fi, energetic sort of twist on it.
Yeah. Like, I think he's just about precision, really. Like, across all varieties, all wine styles. Uses a lot of different formats, and so like from big oak to ceramic eggs to like small format if things call for it.
So this one. So you think about your typical Clare Valley Riesling. This is not that.
No.
Lemons and limes and all things nice. This is all hand-picked. Goes into concrete eggs for fermentation and maturation. Goes through malolactic fermentation plus lees stirring as well. So this is all about structure and texture first and foremost, and then flavour is almost secondary. And that sounds kind of not what you want with a Clare Valley Riesling, but I think it adds so much interest to the wine.
Totally. Every single wine that's coming out is getting incredible reviews. It's one of those sort of banner years for the Clare.
And so different year to 21, 22, 23, where you had this trio of cooler, like La Nina vintages. 24, warmer winter spring, so earlier bud burst, a drier, from what I recall, wet spring, which is probably a good thing, and then a really dry and pretty warm growing season.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of winemakers liken it sort of to 2017, and those wines had amazing sort of power and precision and length and acidity on release, but they just haven't changed. Like, it's an incredible cellaring vintage. Great year to get some fruit off Marksy.
I reckon we nailed the temperature of this just quietly.
Yeah.
It's funny because
it's not like super cold. It's
I
just
literally forgot to put them in the fridge. And we're like, shit, we're filming in like 15... no, it's about probably half an hour for 30, 40 minutes. And I'm like, quick, get them in the fridge. And that's just perfect. So you don't want this wine, we'll get to the rosé as well. You don't want them too cold.
No.
Because you lose some of the intricacies and the texture. You want them just chilled. And that is, like, flavour-wise, it's more in that kind of chamomile area.
It's quite
bath
herbal.
salts, herbal.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that big, overt juiciness.
And just, when you think 2024 Riesling, you're just going to get attacked by acid, especially in a vintage like this, which is going to have great longevity. It's the ceramic egg work that he does, which introduces that lovely sort of waxy texture, little bit of lees work, so it's got a little bit more of a fuller palate on release. Wicked wine. Absolutely awesome.
It's not you just straight them down bargain Riesling. If you love Riesling with structure, with texture, great with food. It'll be fascinating to watch age as well with a different kind of style. You're not going to see that kind of classic Clare kerosene sort of character in this wine. Definitely not.
No.
So, yeah, great stuff. Great addition to the Vanguardist range. And if you recall, there was a Riesling.
Oh, yeah. You did one which was a million years ago.
I wonder if it was the same vineyard.
Yeah, I don't know. It was Watervale, wasn't it? Yeah, back in the day. Anyway, long story short, Riesling's back under Vanguardist, and it's awesome.
All right, moving on now. Going straight to reds. The main reason I wanted to do that is we need to talk about Rende Vineyard. All right, yes. This is Michael's obsession.
Totally.
It's not his interest. It's not his workplace. I don't even think you can call it a passion. He's obsessed with this vineyard. He treats this vineyard like one of his children, and he's got children.
When I walked in this vineyard in 2015, and on the back of my French experiences, which was very different soil types, but, Pyrenees, schisty mountains, I walked in here and I felt alive. It sort of almost felt like home. And I was lucky enough to take a little bit of fruit that year from Robbie, and since then we've gone to take a gentleman's agreement on a lease and to run and organically farm the vineyard. And we just, I feel lucky and blessed to be able to do it, and I don't take it for granted.
The amazing thing about Blewett Springs, see, McLaren Vale, a warm place, you get all the warmth and sunshine, but Blewett Springs there with the higher altitude and the exposure to the sea breeze.
Because how far to the ocean?
14 kilometres as the bird flies, as the crow flies.
As the drone flies?
As the drone flies, exactly. So we're close. We're kind of right at the top end of Blewett Springs, so we're probably the furthest point of Blewett Springs where the hill starts to roll down after here. So even today, you can feel that the influence of that breeze that gets all the way up here. So I think we're a little bit cooler than maybe some of the sites that are a bit lower and down to McLaren Flat.
So you get sunlight hours in the day, ripeness, you get the cool nights, preserving acidity and freshness, and then the secret weapon of this sub-region, Blewett Springs, is the sand.
The vines can access the nutrients and minerals, and I think it helps keep the wines really alive and fresh and more taut, and so structural and rich and dense, which you get off more clay-based soils, which we see in the Barossa.
The other beautiful thing, yes, it's about the sand in this vineyard, but what first drew into it is these crazy gnarly, he calls them goblet, which is sort of what they call it in France, but these goblet or goblet style old bush vines. So they're really gnarly, they're untrellised, they're about the only thing, like Steve Pannell says you can grow basically, what is it? It's apricots and Grenache in sand, and that's it. And these things look like they're just popping out of a beach, which is really nuts.
Yeah.
But these particular vines are very difficult to work. They're very labor intensive.
Yeah.
But the fruit that they yield is absolutely remarkable.
When you think about what makes the great red wines of the world, right? It's the great Burgundies, the great Barolos, the great Bordeaux, etc. It's about perfume, right? It's about medium-bodied wines, like balanced wines that have freshness and go with food and structure and tannin.
Yeah.
Right? And those three I mentioned have that. So does Blewett Springs Grenache when made well. You look at these wines and they've got amazing perfume. They're just so good to smell. They're bright and lively to drink.
Yep.
Feel heavy. And then the tannin just hits you at the end, which is what helps them age, what makes them great with food, what adds that extra dimension to the wines.
Yep.
And I think that's why, this style, and we talk about it a lot here at Different Drop, but there's a bloody good reason. This is one of Australia's signature, wine styles that we can put up against anything in the world is McLaren Vale Grenache like this.
This is sort of a new evolution in the Vanguardist story, I guess, where he's really drilling down on this particular vineyard and separating out stylistically different parcels of fruit. So this isn't like a quality step down from V, it's like a stylistic shift away from V Grenache, where this is sort of a little bit lighter in frame, brighter aromatically, the tannins a little bit finer and tighter. It looks a little bit more like, he reckons it looks a bit more like Nerello Mascalese or, even Nebbiolo or something in that sort of vein. But the perfume is crazy. The freshness, the juiciness on the palate, bloody delicious.
All right, that's the straight Grenache. Should we do the blend?
Absolutely. So this is actually the wine that I kind of liked most on day one when we were down there, was actually the blend. So it's not just these sort of wicked old bush vines that are on this block of Rende. This is a 55 Grenache 45 Shiraz split, which I think works brilliantly, especially so these 2023s, right across McLaren Vale, you're going to see like a particularly fine, bright, lighter vintage.
Really red fruited.
Yeah.
Think about McLaren Vale Shiraz, you go quite dark, go chocolatey. You're not going to see that with a lot of 23s from the really good producers, but this in particular, it still looks very much. That just feels like you picked a grape off the thing you just had a crunchy bite, right?
Yeah.
This just has that little bit more roundness to it and feels probably more approachable as a young one.
Yeah, the tannin is beautiful in this wine. Like it's not like big, chunky, chewy Shiraz. It still has that sort of deft touch, real fineness about it. And it's probably literally in this release, it's probably the wine I'll probably drink the most of, I reckon.
Yeah, it's funny when we went down there, and Michael was like, "Okay, we'll hang out at the Barossa, we'll go get some lunch." He put on a great party at the winery there in the Barossa. But I think really what he wanted to do was take us to Rende, to the vineyard,
100%.
because that is the heart and soul of this project. For all the different things that Michael does, it's all about this site. He's obsessed with it. His partner Claire, she knows every corner of the vineyard too.
Yeah,
and walking around every little vine. There's so much care and work that goes into this site. It's an obsession for Michael, and I hope he can manage this vineyard for decades to come, because it really is a treasure.
But it shows in the wines, like the purity, the brightness, the freshness. In vineyards that are sort of left to rack and ruin, you see all this like dead fruit and sort of like decaying sort of fruit character about them. Whereas this, every berry is just like pristine. It's just like singing.
And the wines are just amazing.
Man, I'm really pumped with these new wines. They're a noticeable step up from the petty Vanguards.
Absolutely.
They taste like they're a family with the V Grenache. So if you know that wine and you love that wine before, these all feel like siblings. They don't feel like, sort of secondary wines. It's cool.
That's beautiful. So this is Rende Vineyard Rosé, again, a blend of Grenache and Shiraz. 50-50-ish stainless and concrete again.
Yep.
About 3 or 4 months on lees, unfined, unfiltered. It's a similar story to the Riesling in terms of what he's going for with this wine. It's about making a serious rosé, right? That's structured, that's sinewy, that's great with food, that's interesting.
Yeah. Like, he loves the wines in the south of France, right? And their rosé, there's a lot of really shitty rosé made. But the best producers make like serious rosés which age beautifully. And this is kind of set up in that style. Like, it's got tannin, and that's what makes great rosé. Is it like it has acid, it has tannin, it has texture, but it's still beautiful.
I mean, those wines are gorgeous.
So cool.
Heading back again next year to have a crack at some. Well, he was still deciding what he was going to do, wasn't he?
We're trying to talk him into going and making Grenache in France, and making some rosé.
Because Garnacha in Spain.
Yeah. Like,
he'd be up.
Take over the world. Yeah, absolutely.
So we should give Ali and Edouard a shout out. So Michael's business partners, Alexandra and Edouard Morris at Latour, who are spent lots of time in Australia, now based in France within the wine industry, and they export the Vanguardist wines around Europe. But the wines, before we even really got to know Michael, the wines just really sung to us because they speak of a place, but also be uniquely kind of conceived and have their own style that looks like Michael Corbett.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is about structure, it's about tannin, it's about purity. And you see that in these wines.
Big burly bloke making some of the most pristine and pretty wines in Australia. It's remarkable. Anyway, we're pretty pumped with these new releases. We highly recommend checking them out. And just anything with the Vanguardist badge on it, is going to be serious quality. So buy anything that he makes. It's all good.
Absolutely. You're supporting a great family. And I mean, I'm just so excited where the next 10, 20 years can go for Michael, because the guy is an incredible winemaking talent. So awesome, mate. That was fun. We'll divide these up. I'll take 4 and you can take
shotgun rosé.
I'll take the other 3. You said.
Okay, fair cool.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
That's magic.
That's what we did.
Should we go to lunch?
We should go to lunch.
I'll pick some Grenache on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's a good vintage, that one.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, it's multiple vintages.